these lies and delusions. Wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Clear my mind and my soul. Gave me a new mind. Oh, made me whole. I'll rise up.
Quam,
I'll be a new light.
quam,
I am awakened.
quam,
I am awakened.
quam. Yes, you
I
are.
am awakened. All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Israelites journey.
Shabbat shalom, family. Hope all is well. Peace and blessings to the whole house, the northern and the southern kingdom. We love the northern and the southern kingdom. And we love the Father. Father, we thank you. We thank you for your Shabbat. Thank you for giving us a day of rest. Because if it was up to the slave masters, we would be working 8 days a week, 50 hours a day. You know, that's how our ancestors had it. And that's how they would have it for to be us. Not so that we could build our own thing, but so that we could build up their thing. I bid everybody in the chat hello, and I bid my brothers on the panel hello, and all the brothers, I want you guys to say hello to the family. Starting from top down.
I see shalom, family. I hope everybody's doing well. Shalom and blessings to all the brothers on the panel. Definitely looking forward to this discussion. May the Most High be glorified in all things. Shalom and blessings.
Are you done?
Brother Hal.
Hey, everybody.
Hey man,
Welcome.
shut up
Isn't
right now.
it
Shut up.
echo that I'm getting? Is it me? I just want to make sure.
It's probably me. I need to do some work. Give me a minute.
Okay, no problem.
You know,
Clear.
it's more than likely always me.
Mhm.
Is that better?
Oh, I think
Is that
that's
better
much
for us?
better. I
Okay,
think that's
yeah.
perfect.
More than likely it's me. I need to jiggle some wires, that Mr. Hebrew 1 used to say. Anyway, go ahead, Brother Hal. Sorry for stepping on you. Go ahead.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. Everybody in the chat, peace and blessings. All my brothers on the panel, great to see you here. Thank you all. I really appreciate it for joining us this morning. This should be a great discussion.
Brother Yash.
Shabbat shalom, family, everybody in the chat. It's great to be here on this day. I'm just sitting here, just relaxing, enjoying the blessings of the Most High. Um, I'm just thankful and looking forward to what this lesson's going to bring today.
Brother E.
Shalom, shalom. Hope all is well. Glad to be on the panel. Y'all forgive me, I had to get on one of my little ones right quick for acting up, but y'all know how that goes. So shalom, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well.
Okay, so we're going to look at the chat and greet the family like we normally do, starting from the top and working down. Brother Jason Camfor, man, you was up early like me. Brother Jason Camfor, Shabbat Shalom to you. My brother Optimal Training, Shabbat Shalom to you, brother. Maria, Shabbat Shalom, peace and blessings. Darnell Blackshear, peace and blessings to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Sister Yvette Rivera, peace and blessings to you on this Shabbat. Yah's means that you one of Yah's children. That's what that say to me. I see that. You just Yah's. Peace and blessings and Shabbat Shalom to you, Yah. Shebrew Yah. Peace and blessings to you, sis. Hope all is well. Sister Katrina Brown, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, sis. Hope you are well. Linda Yisrael, Shabbat Shalom to you, sis. Am I still echoing? If I am, let me know and I'll make the change. I'm going to assume that was earlier. Hopefully I'm not still echoing. Shabbat Shalom to you, Katrina Brown. Ruhama A. Shabbat Shalom, sis. Peace and blessings to you. Hope you are at peace and hope you are at rest right now. Iniana Coleman, peace and blessings to you. Hope you are well. Hope the whole house is well. Hope everybody is using this time to recharge their batteries and take some time off to reflect. And that's what we're going to do a little bit of today. But before we jump into anything, I want to reflect back on yesterday's show and the show that the brother brought in. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping too before we actually jump in, but I want to reflect back on yesterday's show, and I want to throw this out there to the brothers I was just talking to E. So I want to ask this question. We had a heathen come on, and the heathen talking about he Israel and talking about we are the Canaanites, because that's one of their talking points now. So I have this question for the panel. When or where in the book does it say that the heathen would be training Israel up and training Israelites in the truth? Because most of these so-called Issachar and so-called the ridiculous of that even saying that, but we'll say that for the term of being relative, right? You call yourself Issachar, right? But you were trained up by so-called Canaanites, who you call Canaanites, because you wouldn't have came into the truth unless a so-called Canaanite or really Judite brought you into the truth. So where in the book does it say that you, Issachar, would be brought up and trained up in the truth by Canaanite? I got nothing but silence on the panel, so that tells me that it's not even a question. It's not even a question. It's actually a ridiculous question that brother see that you even addressing this. Because normally I really don't spend time on heathens because, as you guys know, I have a very low tolerance for heathens. But if brothers could quickly just shed some light on the question that I just asked, if you could find in the book anywhere where Israelites will be trained up and taught by Canaanites the truth, and then tell the people that taught them the truth that they Canaanites. Can you show me that somewhere in the book?
Doesn't exist, bro.
Come on, man. It's got to be somewhere in there. You what? Yeah. I'm gonna ask the people in the chat. Y'all go get me that precept. Y'all know where it's at. Go get it, and then I'll go with it. Yash, I know Yash got some precepts that support that argument. LG too.
I was just gonna say, go back to the, we know about this, the Flintstone days, to say, when's hog branding time,
They got
Okay.
400 years. They got 400 years of 400 years of teaching this lie, so you never know what you'll find.
Indeed.
You know,
At least 400 years, and then don't even count. We just count the last 400 because that's according to prophecy. But as you guys all teach and preach and talk, and of course the folks in the chat are astute as well. The thought of since 70 AD, that's like two racks on to somebody's charge, 2,000 years that you've been turned upside down and been told something that you're not. And yet you had the wherewithal and the gray matter to create every construct between then and now because they built it on your back. So we're gonna move off of that point because that was just something that was I was stirred, and then I woke up. I was like, well, you know, the book never says anywhere in there that a heathen would be teaching Israel. Anyway, I'm gonna move off of that. I do want to bring everybody's attention. I'm going to share my screen, and I do want to bring everybody's attention to the documentary that we do have coming up. And I want to speak a little bit about that because this is this is going to be important to the whole house. This is going to be important to everybody who call themselves a so-called African American, black, a colored, a Negro, a nigga, a nigger, whatever byword that you can come up with, a spook, a moon cricket, a jungle bunny, whatever you want to say to them. And those that believe that we the people of the book, those that don't believe, those that's in Catholicism or one of the 45,000 different denominations of the foolishness of Christianity, which we know that it's the broad gate. That's why we call it that, because that's what it is. And that's what the books say it is. So all of you should be letting your family, your friends, and even your enemies, let them know that, hey, this video, this documentary, and it's a 3-part documentary, Supersessionism Part 1, Christianity satanic conspiracy, not Islam satanic conspiracy, but they all the same thing because both of them mama is Catholicism. But that's a whole different topic. Christianity satanic conspiracy of replacement theology exposed. This is going to be a dynamite. As a matter of fact, honestly, this should be played at the theaters and should be a pay-per-view event. But as we normally do at Saudi Herb Productions, we give you the goods, the expensive goods for free. Now, what people will typically do when they get free goods is they'll be like, "It's for free? Oh, it must not be worth nothing." Nah, but y'all know how we get down on salt of the earth. Once we take on a project, it's like it's gonna be tied in. The fact that we had other brothers, all the brothers on the panel come in and contribute to this just took it up to a whole nother level. And so I'm just gonna read what it says and invite your family and talk to your family about it because we're not doing it for no clicks and views, although we like likes and clicks and views, don't get it twisted. But we're not doing it for that. We're doing it for the edification of our people. And so our people can have another uh, hammer, a AK-47 or a 50 cal. This is like one of those Russian bombs that they could fire and it could circle the earth and avoid traffic, dip down and wave to you and then go back into the sky at Mach 10 and it's traveling just circling the earth waiting to hit its target. That's what this is. Matter of fact, this is probably about 100 of those, right? Because it's going to take away the scales off of those people who are still holding on to the tenets of Christianity and the man-made religion broad gate. So let me get into this read. This documentary is part 1 of a 3-part series of supersessionism. Part 1, we will delve into the conspiracy to replace true bloodline Israel. When and where did this conspiracy originate? Who was behind it and why? The documentary is packed with so much information from a myriad of sources that it had to be broken down into 3 parts. So I'm not going to read all of this, but I am going to read the last part because the last part is critical, because this is who it's really for. The awakening coming together of the dry bones that has forced us to look back and research everything. So you have family, and I know that we do this, and those of you in the chat do it, but you definitely have to go back and look at everything that you've been taught, from Isaac Newton, that liar talking about gravity and apple hit him on his head. You know that's a lie. You know that. But anyway, I'm not going to get into him too much. But we have to research and we have to look at everything. And behind the scenes, your brother Banya has been researching, and he's had other researchers. The brothers on the panel been researching and dropping information. This is, I believe, a 6 or 8 month project. Banya, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but the project has been worked on all of this time, and you've been promised that the project was coming. And so you got to research everything. And not only that, but after you research everything, you will find that the most pertinent thing is that all religious paradigms, every one of them is false. Judaism is false. Christianity is false. Islam, false. Buddhism, false. All of those things are false. They're false to us because the book is not a religious book.
You know,
It's our culture. It's our heritage. It's our history. It's our prophecy. It's all of those things. Go ahead, bro.
Salt of the earth and brothers here, we've been stark advocates against anything that is culturally appropriating what belonged to us, because it's essential that we be able to come into the understanding of who we are without people trying to grab our heritage at the same time and claim it for themselves. This lesson is, even though it's aimed at Christianity, it's just the start of really systematically taking apart everything that those who are confederate against us tried to build up in their efforts to cut us off from being a nation. Um, we this lesson is gonna just be the beginning of that. You know, it's a systematic dismantle of first Christianity, and then we're gonna go for Islam and anybody else that's anti-Semitic against our people. You know, it's important for us to stop using biblical, not biblical, but religious terms towards ourselves, and start really bringing character defamation into it, and the same type of things that other nations talk about concerning their heritage. That's why we use the word culturally appropriation and anti-Semitic, because that's what it is. If you try to say, if they try to cut us off from the promises that we're supposed to get, it's anti-Semitic. If they try to cut our Northern Kingdom brothers off by saying that they don't exist, all of a sudden now it's anti-Semitic. If they try to replace them by saying that these people within the New Testament are now, these are uh, other ethnic groups of people outside of the Northern Kingdom, it's anti-Semitic. It's thievery, and it won't be tolerated by salt of the earth. So let this documentary be a warning to everybody. First, we're gonna identify who the culprits are. Then we're gonna bring out the history, and then we're gonna dismantle everything they saying in the New Testament that claims, or that they claim supports their argument towards anybody receiving the covenant outside of the Northern Kingdom, or the Most High saving or delivering anybody outside of the children of Israel. We're going to dismantle it all.
All praises, all praises, all praises to the Most High. Thank you, Father. I thank the Father for giving us this work and the ability to, once given the work, to be able to put it in such a manner where it's dynamic, and that is it's of value to the family. That's what we like to do. We like to add value, not just to be doing jumping on screen, talking about whatever it is you talking about, add no value. You got some of these people, I'm not gonna name no names because I don't really get into that, but some of these people, whether they be white evangelicals or even black evangelicals, you're a physician of no value. You don't do nothing for your people. You done took in all these tithes and offerings and alms and good things and 10%, and you ain't built not now nothing for your people. You have built absolutely nothing, nor have you instructed your people to build anything. You just taking all that money. And so we're gonna move off of that, fam. And make sure that you let your family know it's 13 days, about 13 days, somewhere thereabouts. And this is going to be a nuke on Christianity. It definitely is, because we know what Christianity is. It's been something to kind of take our mind away. But let's get into something that's a little bit more um, uh, pertinent for the time that we're living in right now. And it was brought to the family's attention by one of the brothers on the panel, Brother Hal, that we should look at this video. And we had been we had access to this for about a couple of weeks now, and I had kind of not put it on the shelf, but because of some of the things I'm working on, I was trying to shoehorn it in when we could shoehorn it in. So we decided that we would do it today. And what I want the family to do is, as you always do, make your comments and that sort of thing, but also take notes, because once we click on the video and start playing it, then it'll be a situation whereas you're gonna listen to it and then have a lot of input for dialogue. But before we actually play the video, I do want to ask the panel this question, and I say it all the time, and what I say is, because this is will be part of the discussion. When you're seen and when you're viewed, it's a paradox, because on the one hand, they say that you're dumb, illiterate, or feeble-minded, lazy. They come up with all these terms and phrases, right? When they see you. But then at the same time, they see dollar signs, and that they see you and that they say, wow, I can get, I can extract something from this nigger. I'm just, when they see you, the first thing they see is they see your color, then they see the N word. It's imprinted because everybody likes to follow the leader. Everybody's following the white supremacist construct and playbook. Everybody wants to follow behind the winner, so that's what they're doing. So, not to get off topic too much, but when they see you coming, the first thing that they see you, I always say this, they see you as liquid money. Why? Because when they see you, the first thing that they're thinking is, how can I extract some resources, whether it be time, money, energy, from this particular person? And so when we talk about us as a people and where we are, if I say the term capitalism to you, and I have my thoughts about capitalism, and I'll say my thoughts, but I want to get my brother's perspective on the phraseology capitalism, and what do they think about that with relationship to Israel or being an Israelite. And y'all can jump in at any time. I'm gonna mute my mic.
When I think about capitalism, you got to picture you're in a game, a baseball game, I'll say. Well, it's football season or a football game. And the quarterback, he goes back to throw a pass to his receiver. And the receiver, he's closely covered. And he falls down. Now, the defender wants to place himself in a position to capitalize off of his fall. That's capitalism. They are capitalizing off of our fall, while at the same time, but concealing the matter from us. Somebody else?
Yeah, I agree with what Brother Yash is saying. And just to be brief, I believe capitalism is more of a notion. You know, and in our days, we like to give things terminology, and the terminology that we give certain things, it triggers people into seeing things a certain type of way. You know, when Israel is back on top, then we'll be capitalizing off of what the nation's doing for us. But in terms of the overall concept, we as a people in this nation haven't been able to capitalize off anything. We've been the ones that everybody's been able to capitalize from. But that's, like I said, just briefly putting it.
Hey, Brother Eric, you ever think, check this out, it just hit me, about why Christianity, they always just preach the blessings. They never preach the curses.
Right.
Blessings gonna you know what I'm saying? While living
Yeah.
an anti-biblical life.
Yeah. That's that's a capitalist strategy against our people. You know, that's another I would even call that a white supremacist strategy. You know, it's part of the crafty council, man. It goes deep. You know, we can unfold a lot of stuff that's going on, but it all falls under that crafty council.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of capitalism, I think about slavery. I think about basically capitalizing off of slavery, using goods and services, labor, in a means to become wealthy without using using up any of that wealth or pouring it back into anything that you got it from. I'm thinking about, like, how people did all the services for them, but they didn't use anything to any of those the profits or any of the wealth gained to help maintain our people's status within the earth, to help them maintain their existence. We was just basically, they capitalized off our enslavement. And that's what I think about when I hear the word capitalism.
Yeah, that's great, brothers. And first of all, I'm glad that you all went before before I say anything. As Brother Cleo said, I'm the one who presented this video to the group. I wanted to see if. Uh, Sorry, guys, I gotta put you on hold for a second.
I want to ask while the brother's away, and maybe I should. Yeah, I'll ask it now. Here's a thought: can a person have and participate in more than one religion?
Say that again.
Can a person have or participate in more than one religion? And I'm gonna go there after we take a look at the movie, but I want to put that thought into folks' mind, and then when the brother Hal gets back, I'll let him give give his thoughts on capitalism.
Yeah, well, based
Uh,
on my research, it happens. Okay, go back. Brother.
I think
yeah, I'll say yes. My bad.
I think if you're talking about a religion, religion, you know, religion oftentimes could be anything, So yeah, I would say a person can be a part of multiple religions, but not cultures. You know what I mean?
Mm,
That's exactly where I'm going. And so we're gonna table that, and we're definitely gonna want to. And I knew you guys will pick up on the thought. So keep that in your back pocket, and we definitely gonna circle the wagons on that. Brother Hal, you back?
Yeah, brother Cleo.
Okay, go
Guys,
ahead
sorry
and
about that.
no,
My
no,
bad.
no. It's bro, you with the family. You with your family here. The family in the chat and the family that's on the panel. So go ahead and speak your
Awesome,
piece
awesome.
concerning capitalism, brother.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say was I'm glad that everybody went and spoke. I like all the ideas that came out so far. As Brother Cleo said earlier, this video is something that I watched, and I thought it would just be a great discussion with the family about basically in overarching manner how we are seen, and not only that, but how we see ourselves and how we now begin to present ourselves to others. Um, and that said, when I think of capitalism and the way it's affected us, um, and not only us as Israelites, but us as quote unquote black people, um, we've been commodified. We now are looked at as money, whether we are looked at as the biggest spenders, in North America, or probably the biggest spenders in the world, I think it is, or whether we're looked at as a way, like during slavery, as a way to make money. We are all they see is dollar signs when they see us. And it sort of strips the whole idea of what capitalism actually is, what it's supposed to do, and this idea of how it's supposed to be um, sort of an open market, sort of a free market for everyone. Well, certainly it has been that for everyone except for the so called black man. So that's what I tend to think of when I think of capitalism, certainly capitalism in the United States of America.
Yeah, like I mentioned, the capitalism within itself is a concept that exists not only in America. It's just that in America, that concept is being abused because now you have a people who are uh, fragile and vulnerable for you to take advantage of. So just like I mentioned, when Israel rises up, we're going to be in that position to where we're going to benefit from the labor that everybody else doing. You know what I'm saying? But right now is just the opposite.
I will say that everyone's comments on the panel and those in the chat is is a testimony to not only what we know, but it's a testimony against all nations who have practiced that against us. I want to read Jason Philip Macaulay's precept because it's so appropriate in this hour. 2 Peter 2 and 3. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you. Is that prophetic or is that not prophetic? Who else been made merchandise out of? They take you turn on TV if you watch TV. Whose vernacular they using? What's cool on the earth? Who got the best swag? I'm gonna use these young folks terms. I probably ain't even saying them right. What's fire on the earth right now? Why I always point back to Israel every single time. But is Israel the ones benefiting from this? You created all the genres of music. Israel will create a genre of music and walk away from it and be like, oh, we tired, we bored of that. We're going to move on to something else. How many different versions or brands of hip hop and rap have y'all created just within one genre? And then you create it, and then you get bored with it, and then you do something else. You create it, get bored, and then meanwhile, I saw something. I saw a YouTube video that said in the next 25 years, rap is going to be or hip hop is going to be completely white, and that's not necessarily an indictment against Israelites or Israel. It's more of an indictment of this society on how everything that we produce has been appropriated for other people. We'll invent a dance format, and as an example, and then someone else will get the credit and make billions on trillions of dollars behind it.
And you know
And
what?
so, go ahead.
Not only that, you can even see it with sports and athletics. You know, if you know anything about sports, oftentimes you'll see a segment where they'll do sports science, where they'll break down an athlete's abilities. And oftentimes it's always a brother of some sort that they breaking down his moves or, you know, his body movements, his tendencies, everything to try to just break down a move or something that they do. And now you look at all these white boys jumping out the gym, doing all these fancy crossover moves and stuff. So, like I've been saying for a long time, America is a test lab, and they testing us, they monitoring us, and once they get it down pat, they're gonna create their own prototype and then replace you.
Indeed. I'm gonna read the rest of this precept, and I'm gonna ask brothers if they have any more questions. And thanks for mentioning that, E, because that's something. Another thing when you mention sports, that's something else that I want to hit on. But we're gonna go down a capitalistic spin on that. Let me read the rest of 2 Peter 2:3. Whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. So the Most High is definitely not playing with anyone in this hour. If you think he playing, if Cleo Jr., if you think he playing, you are sadly mistaken, brother, because he's not even playing with you. And he's not playing with the heathen at this hour. I saw a lot of gold and we're gold and anything we touch is good. That's absolutely correct. Anything we touch turns to gold every single time. And that's even in our captivity. Imagine if we were left to our own devices with the Father in some land called the wilderness or in some land called the kingdom of the Israelites, and you left to do your own thing for 10 years. That's something that's a scary thing, though, because you leave y'all to y'all devices for 10 years, y'all be done took over the whole globe. Who believe that? Anyway, so what I'm going to do now, fam, unless the brothers have anything to add to what's been said already? Let's give you brothers a chance to speak before we watch the video, and then we're going to round table the video after we watch it. Now, family, I do want to tell you before we play it that the brothers haven't seen the video. Brothers on the panel haven't seen the video. Only 2 people, myself and Hal, have seen it. So I'm really not going to have a lot to comment on, but I do have some comments that will more than likely build upon it. But brothers, before we jump into the video, do you have anything that you want to add?
I just want to say all praise to the Most High, and I want to say thank you to the brother Hal for this work.
No doubt, brother Eric. Brother Cleo, right? Just before you play the video, there's just a few things I want to say about the creator of it, one of the people in it, and where this video was originally presented from. Um, I'll start with that. The video is now on YouTube, but the video was originally presented through the New Yorker magazine. Now, if any of you don't know the New Yorker magazine has been around forever. But the New Yorker magazine is a predominantly white red magazine. You will not find many. Of course, there are some. There are exceptions to every rule, but you will not find their audience being many people. I don't know how to put this. Um, I really don't like saying black people. So when you hear me say that, just know it's for lack of a better word. But they don't have a high black audience with the New Yorker magazine. And this is where this video was originally presented. The creator of the video is a brother. His name is Adrian Bureau. He is a filmmaker. Um, he graduated, I believe, out here in California. Um, can't remember which school, but it's one of the high-profile schools out here in California with a degree in film. Um, Now he also um, is one of these brothers who was in a dispute with police officers, and it was caught on film. Some of you probably, when you heard his name, you probably recognize it from that. Uh, just a little bit about the dispute that he was in, real quick. Um, he was outside of his house, um, and there was a cop who stopped a man on a motorcycle, pulled out his gun, pulled it on him, had the gun at his back, and Mr. Adrian Burrell came out of his house and was started filming the police officer. Police officer told him to stop filming him. He wouldn't stop filming him. Police officer came up to him, cuffed him, um, threw him down on the ground, and arrested him. Um, that's what happened there. Um, there is a woman in the video, and I'll just tell you this: she is doing a poetry monologue. Her name is Ayondel Naginza, and she is the first um, poet laureate for Oakland, California. Um, and she's also a sister, as you will see. So I wanted to tell you these things before you watch the video. So just remember, this is by our people, right? These are quote unquote black people who created this video, black people performing in the video. Um, and I also want to remind you that this is a brother who have, he's had some altercations with police officers. And one more thing I want to let you guys know: if you got your kids around right now, there are some adult themes in there. In this video, they do use some bad language every now and then, so you will hear that. So if you are cautious of that with your kids around right now, you probably want to, maybe excuse them from the room. Um, that was it, Brother Clear. Thank you.
You are welcome, and I'm glad that I gave the brothers the peace to do that. I'm glad I gave you the peace to do that, because I know that this says this. You were moved by this video, and family. I'm gonna, after I block this user, I just seen a Russian bot in there. So without further ado, I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna actually play the video. And be patient with me, because you guys know how I am with this holding the mic at the same time. I need a boom mic stand so that my mic can be held. But Brother Cleo, stop complaining. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Y'all hear that a lot, right? So my screen should be getting shared in a minute. So let me actually, did my computer freeze up after that? Can you brothers hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, look like my computer acting crazy right now. Y'all hold on for a second. I said share screen and it froze up or something. Okay. Let me see something here. Let's go here. Oh, do you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
No,
My computer just. I'm not surprised. My computer just. I got like a spinning blue wheel right now, and
The
nothing's
brushes.
working. So just bear with me for a second. You brothers can chop it up while I
It,
handle these
it,
technical difficulties.
yeah. Well, while you saying that, you said, imagine if they left us alone for 10 years. You say Israel be done took over the world. Well, that actually happened in Reconstruction. After 10 years, we led the Senate. We filled the House of Representatives. We was flourishing. I mean, 10 years immediately after slavery, and that's when they took it up to the Supreme Court to have the because we had military protections at that time. They gave us the military to keep them from that's the most they gave us, at least a little protection to keep them off our back, give us a little time. After 10 years, we moved so far ahead that they removed them protections. That's what they called the Great Betrayal, when the Republican Party, which is today's Democrats, threw us under the bus, and they installed Jim Crow and began to uh, dismantle everything that we had built during that time. You know, killed off and ran off the lawmakers. It just got wild. So you're right, exactly correct. In 10 years, we be done took over. In 20 years, nobody'd have. It'd be game over. But then again, you know, we still have to finish our punishment. So it's all the Most High's will. But just watch.
amen, brother Yash.
I mean, also there's something we can see with this, right? Of all the things we started, I mean, how many times have we, spoken about Rosewood and Black Wall Street, right? I mean, of all the things we started, whether it's the two I just mentioned, whether it's you know hip hop and rap music, whether it's styles of clothes, whatever we start, they have to infiltrate somehow. They have to take control of somehow, and they ruin it. Not only do they ruin it for us, but they ruin it for the rest of the world who might be, excuse me, who might be enjoying it at some point. They commodify it. They look at us as money and dollars, and they take it and they destroy it. Um, and that's what they have to do, because in a lot of ways they know that if they just left us alone or left it alone, whatever that creation is, it would be over for them.
Okay, family. It appears that I'm back in the house, and brothers, of course, held it down. We got some sharp brothers on this panel, and I'll say this, like I always say, nobody can do it like Israel. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and I got a bunch of comments. You guys, write. I'm imploring everybody, write your comments and questions and thoughts down so that we can do a very active and proactive build on this, because this is a awesome, awesome, awesome presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to click play.
Hey, brother
Go
Cleo,
ahead, bro.
brother
Go
Cleo.
ahead, bro. Mhm.
Do we also want to do the fair use statement before we start?
Oh yes. Go ahead and say that because I don't have it committed to memory. Fair use. This is going to be used for educational purposes only, and we're using the Fair Use Act so that we can play it. And again, it's only for the edification of our people, and so that our people can learn. This video will not be monetized. How's that?
Uh,
Amen.
I think that works.
I don't have the fair use screen. E, you want to throw up the fair use screen? I should
I'm
actually put
uh
that up in the beginning of the video. Go ahead, bro.
no, I'm on my phone right now. I have it on my computer, but I'm not near my computer right now.
Okay, so if they want to flag it, we're not making any money off of it because none of our videos are monetized. So
Or
if
just
they want to
Well,
you
flag
I
it,
can
that's up to them.
do this, brother Cleo.
Go
You
ahead.
can type it up in your Google engine and it'll just come right up. You can share it and read it if you want to do it that way.
I'll do that. Fair use. Fair use. Definition. No, that's that's the thing about Google is if you type in if you know what you want, you type it in the right way, then uh it'll come up and it'll show you what you need. So what I'm going to do is let me double click on that. Fair use disclaimer. Let me see. No, that's not what I want. I just wanted the image. Okay, let's click on that. Actually, every time I click on something, it takes me to the same website. And so from what I'm looking at and from what I'm reading, uh, okay, yeah, there it is. We'll use this one, and I'll just share this screen. Let me stop sharing for a minute, and let's go back to the yard. I'm going to share the screen, and we're going to share. Let's share that one. Let's share this one. Okay, so I just took everybody down the road to oblivion. And that's not the one I want. Okay, so here's an example of fair use notice. Fair use, this site contains copyrighted material that use of which has not always been specifically authorized by the copyright owner. We are making such material available in our effort to advance understanding of not criminal justice or anything like that, but whatever it is that we're doing, which is shedding light on the relationship between capitalism, and we're using this video from the New Yorker's website. Here's the statement, and I think that should be have us covered to a certain degree. Next time, what I'll do is I'll have it ready, and matter of fact, we'll actually show it before we even play anything or do anything. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen on that, and then I'm going to go back and share the screen of the video, and we can get started. My apologies for not having that prepared, fam, because I know how they are when we use their communications, and it's not using it against them, but anytime, we use anything, it's going to be held to the highest level of scrutiny and whatever else that they want to do to hold us um, guilty of something, because the so-called African American is not only public enemy number one, but you are the biggest criminals on the earth according to them. So I'm going to play the video, and hopefully I can have the levels up high enough so that you all be able to hear it. Let me know if the levels are good once it starts playing.
I don't hear any sound. Hello?
Can you hear it now?
Yeah, I hear it now.
Take the dice and roll your life.
7. See, I would have did that to you 7. I would have bought you 5 black amounts. All right, come on, Pooh Bud.
Existence is complex, and the pieces are held in place by ancient forces. There are the gods of our fathers, and the gods that crossed the graveyard in the ocean to the sorrow lands of North America in the holds of ships. The children of the sun, just trying to get by. They have stacked centuries, one atop the other, just trying to get to the morning. They are elemental, close to the beginning of the beginning of the beginning, and the answer in the end.
Man, it was beautiful, man. You know, it was money. You get money in your sleep. I witnessed $3.5 million. I slept on that between the box spring and the mattress. Money came and went, but I'm still alive and I'm still free. Choose 3 stars. You know how things change, though. Yeah. The American dream, 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 the American dream. Yeah. And I grew up without that. I had to make my way to where I felt that I was living it.
The children of the sun will find the path to the future if they have to build it themselves. They are builders. Ask them what happened in Rosewood. Ask them what happened in the Sorrow Land after Reconstruction. Welcome to the game.
All that. I just can't say this, right? He said make it look like we're in a drop. Make it look like we're in a drop. Just put this up. Yeah. A lot of people I see follow. You know, niggas out here having no drug kingpin organizations no more for real in the town. And niggas, a lot of niggas who solo hustling, and then you just got a lot of. You might have some niggas playing with some pounds or something, but like some big heavy dope. Hell, niggas ain't got no dope. It's a game of runs. You can have a good run, you can have a bad run. You feel me? Like, a motherfucker tell me like I'm materialistic. I don't care. I don't come outside every single day and risk my life and freedom to live like a regular person. I risk my life and freedom every day hustling for material shit. Risk getting fucked up every day to drive a Honda and wear shacks. Like, nah. At first it was a means of survival. Like, it's just the only thing I knew. Then it started being a way of me to get ahead. And it's like, shit, man, I don't know. Now it's just a lifestyle.
The black market, the underground, where the world is a dance floor. New steps are constantly emerging, and they keep changing. King God, born on dreams tied to Plymouth Rock, is a hollow god written on the back of a lie. Capitalism, the author of Fences and Forks, has found a home in the Sorrow Land, where everything is for sale by people who saw those who ate with their fingers forks, and civilization on a margin that came with fences on land stewarded by humans, but owned by Earth herself, who never signed a deed. Now, game gods, some people call her hustle, work, or the business, but she is properly known as the game god and should not be confused with her older sister Luck, who is noted for not loving anybody. Game god is the patron of souls on the path trying to make something out of nothing in a world where capitalism sets the tables and treats the world as a marketplace. Now, capitalism is a clever thief. It offers idols, shiny things that are only worth exactly what you are willing to pay for them. You see, value, like language, is an agreement. Both concepts are tricky and vague, like erecting fences on land you don't own but made yours by language written that says it's yours in law and deed, made up by you.
It fucked me up how much I believed in God. You know what I mean? Like, it fucked up my thought processing once I believed everything that they told me. Like, all right, you feel me? I just gotta be fair, and can't none of you niggas fuck with me. None of you niggas can't kill me. Ain't a nigga walking could kill me. I knew this shit when I was 16 or something, so I've always walked around kind of fearless, because it's like, I believe in that. Only God can kill you, man. I got like we know. You feel me? My best friend, your cousin, man, they been shot in the head and walked off. Got hit in the leg. And it was time.
Tricky and vague. Like selling a man, a woman, a child, written on cotton, sealed with the blood of millions of people, sold American.
How I look at it is, somewhere from me will look at it as cows. Herd them from one spot to another. The government or the state or whomever, they do the same thing with us. They warehouses and all these different prisons. They moved us, from buildings to the chow hall in line.
If you have even one migraine day a week, that's 52 migraine days a year. Days full of friend time, work time, meal time, bedtimes, family time. And now it's time to break the cycle with Emgality. Emgality, taken once a month, can help prevent migraine days before they start. It can cut monthly migraine days in half. Don't use if allergic to Emgality. Allergic reactions such as itching, rash, hives, and trouble breathing can occur even days after using. Common side effects include injection site reactions. Ask your doctor about Emgality today.
A lot of people died here. Look at how they got us. Man, I've been on I'm going to 26 years in November for me. I'm going 27 years, I've been in here 21 years. With a couple of friends of mine, going out, killed themselves, seeing people get stabbed out on the yard and die, it takes a strong mind to survive because someone is considered a slave. They can take their property, they can take the rights to your name, they can take the rights of everything that you require, all the intellectual needs. This is done for the lack of knowledge of ourselves and equity, treaty, trust, and knowledge of who we are and what our ancestors have done. Through the Constitution and through the Articles of Confederation.
King David, his throne, he almost messed up with God because of Bathsheba. And his punishment for adultery was the first baby that he had with Bathsheba when he was sneaking off with her, sent her husband to get killed on the front line. King David did that. Their first child died. Bathsheba had that good, that wop. She had wop, and she got King David all the way out of pocket with God. So don't tell me about the power of pussy. San Francisco's gonna be cold. I'm gonna be ready for it. Jack Frost won't be nipping at my ass. I just wanted to get away from the pimping so bad. I got beat up and all this stuff happened, so it was a wrap. I went to the Nation of Islam. I learned a lot from Islam, but I took it and mixed it with the game. And baby, that's where you got hustle, mom. And that's when I became a madam. And I had my escort service. And wasn't nobody fucking with me either because I was strapped. Be shady. Yeah, you going to feel this 380.
I took some more shots or whatever. It's nothing. It's just like, I know niggas out there hating, no. Y'all hate to see a nigga on top of his shit, doing his thing, you know what I mean? Having it. It's all good though. I'm walking with them angels, nigga. And I'ma stay on top, nigga, cause the angels gonna keep on floating me out of all situations, nigga. Y'all niggas can't do nothing to me. All you niggas could do is hurt me a little bit.
The American dream, 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 the American dream. Trouble won't last long. And this old world, Lord, 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 is not my home. I ain't gonna let this life worry me. Say, I ain't gonna let this life worry me.
Black market is a business, just like any other table set by capitalism. Some bigger than others, but everybody buying and selling in a land where everything is commodified. Now, Game God turns on her own karmatic law. She can be fickle. She wants devotees. She rarely trifles with those who dib and dab, but those who come to play, they know her well. She's got a long memory and a sense of justice you may not appreciate. And she holds the keys to destiny and fate. Set the table for game. Capitalism made black market the business. Game.
If you have even one migraine day a week, that's 52 migraine days a year. Days full of friend time, work time, meal time, bedtimes, family time. And now it's time to break the cycle with Emgality. Emgality, taken once a month, can help prevent migraine days before they start. It can cut monthly migraine days in half. Don't use if allergic to Emgality. Allergic reactions such as itching, rash, hives, and trouble breathing can occur even days after using. Common side effects include injection site reactions. Ask your doctor about Emgality today.
Comes from the place they shoot your seed down in the street, then write you a check. They stand their ground, then write you a check. From where the government paid Confederates for slaves lost in the Civil War. Game God came into being on a southern shore where odds needed evening. She set out immediately to find hiding places for the gods that crossed the ocean. And she became guardian to those stolen, violated, treated as property. Wherever one seeks a way out the no way, Game God attends those prayers. The writers of rules, they stay busy trying to ensure that they are the only winners. It's getting harder to even the odds in a game where the board keeps getting rewritten. You learn to use the master's tools at your own peril.
This old world is not my home.
So, the message for the world. Rather, the question.
I've lost everything that I've earned twice. I don't want to lose it again. Really, my grandfather pulled me in. So my grandfather, he used to sell dope. He was the one that taught me how to cook it, how to cut it, how to weigh it, how to sell it. It went from me selling dope full time to me just straight pimping full time. And I was like, hey, I fought a life sentence. I fought 72 years to life. And I ended up getting 8 years. I've been to every prison. I've been to, start off in Chachilla. I've been to Folsom. And I've been to CIW. And then it was a lot of people that was committing suicide while I was there. So I thought about that too. It kind of felt a little haunted. I was at one prison for maybe only even a year, and I probably seen like 8 people commit suicide within a year. I want for my kids everything I never had. I love you. I'm there for you. Any choice that you make, I want you to feel comfortable coming to me and talking to me about any and everything. Like, I want them to have stability. I want them to have education. And I want what they want for themselves. Because it's only 2 en routes. And I've been there before. I've been in both places. I haven't been dead, but I've been close to it.
How long do you think gods cry? And if the game is fatally flawed and there is no way out, how long before we clear the board all together?
The American dream. The American dream. The American dream. The American dream. The American dream.
Okay, fam, we back, and that was the video. Hold on a second.
You design
Let
today?
me pause this thing because it's still running on my screen in the background. And so is that. I should probably just make it small and kill that. So, fam, that was the video, and I'm gonna take it to the brothers in the panel and get some initial thoughts. Go ahead, Hal.
Cleo, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Absolutely. You got the floor, bro. I'm gonna go on mute.
Yes. So I'm glad that everybody got to see that finally. I've been holding it since it came out, in very, very early February, so a couple of weeks now. I really wanted the family and everybody on the panel here to see it. Before we get to everybody on the panel, I just want to do one thing. Some of the comments in the comment sections were intense. I love them. But I want you guys to do me one thing. We got about 50 of us in here right now. So remember what I said at the beginning of the video, where I said, okay, this is a brother who made this film. He presented it on the New Yorker. So he's presenting it to quote unquote whites, a white audience. This is not being presented to us. So do me a favor, everybody in the chat. Hit a 1 if you thought this video was absolutely beautiful. You love the way you love the scenery, everything, the way it was filmed. You love the poetry. You love the way it showed how capitalism affects and impacts quote unquote black people. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that way. Okay, we're getting a lot of ones here. All right. All right. Awesome. Now, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. If you thought that this was a horrible portrayal of quote unquote black people, if you thought that this is the way we're always portrayed, the way we're always seen, and just remember again what I said at the beginning, that this is a black brother, a black filmmaker who is presenting this to quote unquote white people. If you thought that this was a horrible portrayal, you don't like seeing us this way, you're tired of it, put a 2 in the chat. See a couple of 2s. All right, I'm seeing some more 2s. Okay, excellent. All right, we got a pretty good division here, which is good. All right, brother Cleo, I'm gonna give it back to you. Thank you, man.
Actually, I should be giving it back to you, bro. To be honest with you, because this is your inception and conception. And
Because
so anytime you want to,
yeah,
go ahead, bro.
yeah, yo. So one of the things I wanted to see, because I will tell everybody right off the bat, and I'll probably leave my comments for last on the panel because I really want to get everyone else's feel on this. Um, I'm on the 2 side here. If I was in in the chat, I would have wrote a 2. Um, this is for me. This has been done over and over again. Um, and this is not only the way we've started to see ourselves and we've begun to see ourselves, but this is the presentation that we are now giving to others of ourselves. And I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm going to say more at the end. But now I think it's a great idea. And Brother Cleo, since you saw this earlier also, I'm going to kind of leave you for last also. So I'm going to start with Brother Yash. Brother Yash, what you think, man?
I thought that it was a good presentation as far as the representation of who we are. I'm in the middle. I don't like us being shown or being portrayed that way. However, not only is it the side that they look at us as, but also this is the side that the Most High looks at us as. He's not looking at us as on our best. He's looking at what we become, and they need to see their hand in how their system has forced, and it's a small minority. They'll look at it as the majority, but it's actually a small minority of us have become like that. However, if one person in our nation had sinned, the whole nation was held guilty of that. In the case of Achan, in the battle of Ai with Joshua, the Most High says Israel has sinned, yet it was one man who took up that stuff. In the case of David with Bathsheba, one man, the whole nation suffered. So therefore, it is necessary to portray that negative side of whom we become. Because until this negative is wiped away, down to the last one, the whole nation is in a state of fall.
I hear you, Brother Yash. Brother Yash, I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think about the imagery? So I'm a pick, and I'm gonna pick two images out. Um, what did you think about the poetess, the narrator, the woman telling the poem, and how she was portrayed in the film? That's the first question. And the second question is, what did you think about the religious imagery of the black boy slash black man being baptized?
Well, okay, the poetess is one. See, they portrayed us as the symbology made it seem as if we were voodoo, yeah, voodoo. You know, it gave off this air of voodoo and wickedness in our people, and then the always baptizing. I mean, the baptizing and the it was like that gave us. It was like this religion to me. It was like we're caught between uh, two failing. It's like your traditions are no good, and neither is your religion. None of that is helping. That's the portrayal that it actually uh, it gave to me. It's like you you only have two choices. It's, you know, I'm not gonna get to the brother until he came out, but it's like you have two choices, and neither of them, and they're both leading you into failure. It was a lot.
Hmm. Okay, okay, great perspective, brother Yash. Thank you, man. Next, I'm gonna go to brother Ebri right now. Brother Ebri, what you think, bro?
Yeah, was that, just to clarify, was it put together, you said, for the purpose of white people, for them to see?
Yes, absolutely. So this brother, he's made other videos in the past. He's a name out there. A lot of people know his name in the film industry. But this was presented on the New Yorker website for the New Yorker magazine, which is a predominantly white, mostly white people subscribe to this magazine.
Well, I think if that's the case, then he could have just showed them boys in the hood, or menace to society. I don't think anything in a video was presented that's not known. And then if you want to talk about capitalism, and you show our enemies that's not gonna sway them, or make them feel any type of way, because a lot of them are into the same things. You know, that shouldn't even been a video about capitalism. It should have been more of a video about survival. But nothing in that video, I feel, will prick at the hearts of them. True enough, they have a lot to do with some of these things, you know what I mean? But I don't think that was a good video to show for that purpose.
All right, I hear you, and I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked Brother Yash, but I'm gonna use uh, some different I'm gonna focus on some different things here. So, give me your take on the imagery that they gave on. So there was an older gentleman, older quote unquote black male, leading the boy and the man to be baptized. And he was also playing the piano and singing. Um, what sounds like, of course, jazz or blues on the piano. What was your take on his representation and his role in the film? Brother Eric, did you get me? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was on mute, but
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think it represents actually a diminished role in a way. I think it shows the diminishing of the black male leadership. It's like, you know, most of us are pretty much turned over, to the world. It's kind of like how the Bible say, don't sacrifice your children to the fire of Molech. And when you look at the leadership or the lack thereof, oftentimes the leadership we do have is leading us in the wrong direction, in this worldly. So that's what I thought about that.
Mm, very, very, very interesting, brother Eric. Thank you so much. All right, brother Banya, you're up, man. What'd you think of this?
Well, I looked at a couple of things. First thing that you want to take into account, and I think this is the more important one, is who he made this viewing for. Who did he make this movie for? Because when you know that, then you understand why the imagery is the way it is, and why the poetry is the way it is, and all of these things. So to sum it up, what this video was a progress report. It's for white people to see that all things are on the up and up, according to the plan that they laid out for our people. All right, you have people being indoctrinated into religion, the baptism. That's what that represents. You have the black man willing to sacrifice each other. You have a total lack of morality, the diminishing of a moral compass. You have the end results, which is the diminished black man, a defeated black man sitting on the steps, you know, um, who hasn't really passed anything down to anyone, hasn't passed any of its experience down. So what, like I said, it's a progress report, and of course we wouldn't find it entertaining. But again, you got to remember who did he make it for? He made it for white people to see. White people don't want to see us developing and striving. They don't want to see us as human beings. So they're not going to want to see any morality involved with that. They want to see us indoctrinated to what they laid out. You know, you got a baptism happening, but then on the other side, you got a man who's completely delusional as to how life goes and what his fate is potentially going to come to. You know, not even coming to grips at the same time. Bullet holes all in your car, and not coming to the grips that you're going to die doing this. Still walking around talking about, God can only take me. Yeah, God can take you, but thou shalt not tempt the Most High. Right? You reap what you sow. So it's a progress report, in short, for white people to see that everything is on the up and up with black folk, so-called black folk, that we still, defeated mentally, morally amongst each other, willing to sacrifice each other. You got a sister there feeding her child. Where's the man at? Where's the father? It's the things that hasn't been that wasn't said within this video that's really alarming. You know, as far as entertaining, yeah, it's a white person would find it entertaining. I give it a 2 because it's the same old story with you know how they want to portray our people. Couldn't be any further from the truth. But yeah, that's it.
Absolutely, brother Barney. Thank you for that perspective. That was awesome. That was awesome. I'm gonna ask you one more question, like I asked brother Yash and brother Eric. So, the imagery of the poetess, the woman narrating, saying the words. What did you think of that imagery? What did you think of her?
All right, so I got an ancestor worship vibe from her. You know, it was children of the sun, and you know who's moving the pieces on the board, while at the same time, you got someone being baptized. That's biblical. You know, she said a few things. It sounds like referring back to Egyptology. You know, so her mixing it seemed to really draw back to ancestor worship type of deal to me.
Gotcha, gotcha. Thank you, brother Bunyan. Thank you. All right, brother Cleo. So, and brother Cleo, before you say your words, I want to let everybody know. So, when I saw this video and I wanted to show it to the family, I wanted the family to critique it. Um, I immediately, for some reason, don't ask me why, um, I immediately thought of brother Cleo, and I thought that he would be the perfect person to present this. Um, with him, just hearing him talk today, just hearing him, kind of lead the discussion that started off. Now I understand why I wanted Brother Cleo to do this, or why it first came to my mind. His brother Cleo just has a word, the words, and kind of the way of speaking and presenting things that I think is what I was looking for. In presenting this to the family and having them critique it. And really, what I wanted to get across to the family an understanding of not only how other nations, other peoples, our oppressors, how they see us, but how we see ourselves and what we think is beautiful and what we have to now change in becoming. Because we know we are Israelites, but we are still becoming Israel. And what I mean by that is we are now turning back to the Father. We are now focusing on the laws, statutes, and commandments. We are now relearning everything that our ancestors gave away. So we are becoming Israel again in that sense. And I think that there are just some things we have to let go of. And this imagery, however beautiful it is, I think is something that we have to expel ourselves of because it is not us. And we tend to think it's our history, but it's not our history. This is not who we are. All right, with that, brother Cleo, my man, what'd you think, bro?
Oh man, you know what? This is one video that you should probably watch a few times because it'll just like as you read the book, it'll give you a new perspective every time you see it, right? And so this is my second time watching it, and right off the rip, um, the way that the world sees you is through the lens of this video, right? This is how everybody on planet Earth sees the so-called African American. And they see you as a dope dealer, they see you as a prostitute, but they also see you as these bad things. But in conjunction with that, juxtapose this with that, is that they see you as being very spiritual, but you have no power. You can praise whoever you want to praise, but there's no power that goes along with that. And the audience that this was made for, they'll see this and say, okay, our plan of controlling these people is still in effect, is still working, because white supremacy is still on top, and you still worried about making it. You have no power. Your physicians that have been bringing you Christianity and whatever spiritual system that they bring you is of no value to you because you're still the tail. There's so much in this video that, and I'm going to watch it again, and I'm going to watch it a few times, but I actually took notes. And if the family would indulge me, I want to share some of those notes that I took. Because the person that was presenting, I just got not turned on to it, but matter of fact, a while ago, Brother Banya would show me the show American Gods, and we've actually used some of their material. And right off the rip, that woman that was presenting as a god, she's an American god from American Gods. You could put her in there with them, because how she came off was as if she was an entity, right? That's number one. Number two, she talked about her sisters, game god, luck god, capitalism, and all of these things are entities. And she's speaking as if she relates to them and she can relate to them, right? And she's able to speak from that perspective because she's an entity herself. But she said some interesting things, though, and I'm going to go back to them. She said, one is that you were the beginning. And what I thought about that was, well, yeah, she right, because the firstborn of all creation was Mashiach. And that's according to the book. But then she said, you are the answer and you are the end. And so from everyone's perspective, of course, we are all different and we're going to see things differently. But when she said that, I said, I thought of the precept, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning thereafter. You guys go get that precept for me and drop it. And so that was, although it was presented for a wide audience, we should be able to look at this video and be able to decode it and pull something out for ourselves today as a solution. And we could talk about solutions because everybody knows what's wrong with black folk. And we know what's wrong. They not LSC. If you're LSC, you ain't got no issues with nothing because you know how to correct what's wrong. We brought this up the last video. If Rosewood, Black Wall Street, and us burgeoning during their depression, because it wasn't ours, that's when they used that as a pretext to destroy us, to destroy our cities. But if those cities had been LSC, them cities would still be standing today. Point blank. That's your solution. So let me continue, because like I said, I took a few notes. Luck is a god. Capitalism is a thief. And she mentioned the fact about idols. And they are idols, but they don't have any value. See, we can chase everything that we want to chase. We can chase the different streams of generating capital, whether it be this nation or where we take it elsewhere. But if you're not LSC, you're doing this to no end. Point blank. You're doing this to no end. It's not going to be of any value to you in the long run. If you're doing something right now and you're a so-called African American, it should be for the building of our people, the building of your family first, the building of your immediate circle first. But ultimately, that should be those resources should be circulating back into Israel. Now, the brother that was on there who had his whip shot up, I wonder, do he spend all his resources like Jim Jones crying with Louis Vuitton in them, people that hate you, instead of saying, okay, hey, Brother Hal, you got something? You moving product? Okay, Brother Hal, I'm going to trade with you because I know that you're going to trade with Brother Banya. Brother Banya going to trade with Brother E. E going to circle it back to Yash somehow. And Yash going to give it to the zigzag, man. No, he's not. Yash not going to do that. Yash going to come to me and say, okay, Brother Cleo, here you go. Right? We know what the solutions are. And how we're portrayed in that is accurate to a certain extent, but it's not portraying the whole picture, because you have that portrayal, but then you also have the portrayal of brothers that's brilliant. And that's not getting played up. If this brother had to put together a video of showing just the brilliant brothers that's on this chat right now, and the brilliant brothers and sisters that's in the chat, and the brothers that's on the panel, got some brilliant minds on this panel right now, right? If you had did a video on that, they would have looked at that and say, hell no, we're not doing that. Because what that's going to do is that's going to motivate these people even further. And for me personally, I get motivated by what the Father gives me, first of all. And then secondly, I do get energy from my family, and I get energy from everybody in the chat, point blank. I do get energy from you. Trust and believe. I'm going to go back to some of the notes I took. And so this was a heavy one right here. You make the laws, you build fences. You take people's land and build fences and instruct laws and enact laws so that you can keep them. Then when we get wind of these laws and we get wind of these programs and services, then you change the laws so that we can't benefit. That was something that was very telling too in this video, because America is always moving the goalposts when it comes to repairing our people. They will repair everybody. Matter of fact, they just repaired the LGBT community for them having marriages, and they can get millions of dollars behind that. But then you always move the goalpost. As soon as we start understanding how the game works, the goalpost gets moved. And so that was another point that I thought was a salient point for our people, knowing that the goalposts are keep moving. We have to keep reinventing. We have to keep studying. We have to keep reading so that we could stay ahead of the game. Those of us that are even in the game, right? So that was something that I thought was also telling. And let's call it for what it is. And some of you in the chat was calling it for what it really was, right? The American dream is nothing but a nightmare. It's the American nightmare. And some of us have waken up and said, okay, yeah, I recognize that the American dream of you having a house and a picket fence and you retire with your 401k. What kind of a dream is that? It's a nightmare because you in debt. You probably went to college to get to where you are, and you $200,000-$400,000 in debt behind that. How's that a dream? A dream would be, I get with these brothers on the panel and we produce something, and then we go out and market that, and we circulate whatever money profits is being generated inside the family, and the family reciprocate that. And then we grow that. And then we're able to take care of our families. We're able to bring other Israelites in. They're able to grow whatever this is, and they're able to take care of their families and their children. And then we continue to do that, right? We've done it in the past. And so I got a ton of more notes that I have written here. But to rephrase, the most pertinent thing was you had a physician of no value in there. And that's the way I see us, as a powerless spiritual. They know that we the most spiritual people on the earth. You hear them say it all the time. But where's the power at? And I yield.
Wow.
Hey,
Okay.
can
Go ahead, Brother Barney. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add something to what Brother Cleo was saying about us not having the power. In that video, also, I noticed how we're trained to use the weapons of the enemy against ourselves. Notice how the sister who said she left the streets and she went into Islam, and it was for the purpose of basically upping her game so that she can go and revamp her game. And so she used the enemy's religion to continue to elevate herself over her own people through survival. And so I just want to point that out.
Thank you, brother Eric. I hear you. I almost feel like after all the views we got from the panel, and certainly after what brother Cleo just laid out, I almost feel like we could shut it down right now. Like, my idea of what I thought this discussion would be like, and clarifying this for the family. um I just feel like we did it. So, I'm going to continue, but before I continue, I just want to thank you, brothers. This is awesome. Just want to thank you. This is absolutely awesome. um Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 1. So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun. And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comfort. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. Just want y'all to hold that in your heads for a second. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So the second part of that, and the gift destroyeth the heart, brothers, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that that's talking about something like a bribe. Um, a bribe destroyeth the heart. But what I really want to focus on is the first part of this verse. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Those two scripts I just read, bro. Um, any of you brothers want to break those down for me? Start with Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1, and how is this related to the video we just saw?
Yeah. I'm gonna just briefly say that just from what I'm hearing from the passage, at some point we're gonna have to get real about our situation as a people and quit faking in front. It's not telling you that as a wise man to go out and rebel against the system, but at some point, if we are wise as a people, then we have to be able to confront what's in front of us and look at the reality of what's in front of us. And once we be able to do that, then we can make the right moves, be it spiritually or physically. But at some point, we're going to have to approach this issue with a righteous anger.
I hear you. I hear you, brother Eric. Brother Barnier, you have anything on that, and especially the two scriptures I just read?
Yeah, especially with the oppression maketh a wise man mad. That tells you when you're under a system of oppression, it affects you mentally. It affects you cognitively. It affects your ability to really understand your situation to a certain point, right? That brother and how he was going about things was mad. It was crazy. Like, you willing to risk your life and die, you know, and not even recognize how dire your situation is, because you're mad. You're crazy. If you think that that there's any other way out of there with that type of lifestyle other than death or jail, you are mad. You're crazy. And we've got to, and like the brother said, we've got to face the reality of our situation. You know, as a people, you know, it's tough to me because the way I always view things is that the responsibilities falls on us then, because as Israelites, as those who are awakened, we can see these things, and and the people in there can't see it sometimes because they're mad. We've been oppressed also, but the Most High has preserved our mind to a point that we can wake up and understand the situation that we're in. Our moral compass is not compromised. You know, that's it.
Yeah, I hear you, brother Bonnie. Thank you, thank you. The first script I read, Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1. I'm gonna read it again. So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter, and they had no comforter, and they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. But they had no comforter. What is that script saying to us, brothers and sisters, right now? I truly believe that this is talking about the time where we were under the oppression, where Yah cursed us and stopped hearing our prayers as a nation. And we had no comforter in that moment. But now we have a comforter. Now we have a comforter. 400 years are over, and Yah is hearing the prayers of his people. But this is what we become. We've become this video. And it's not just anymore, like I said before, I said this a little while ago, it's no more the way they see us. This is the way we see ourselves now. We see ourselves, and trust me, I looked at this video and I saw the imagery in it. I think the imagery is beautiful. It's beautifully depicted. The way that we see this woman all in white, she's very virile. She's standing in the woods, and she's really articulate, and she's saying these words. It's beautiful scenery. But if we just take a step into it, just take a moment and take a step into it and look at the way, not the way we are being seen, because we know the way they see us. We know the way the oppressor sees us. But we take a step, take a moment, and look at the way we are seeing ourselves. This is exactly what they want. In every movie you've seen in Hollywood, think about what comes to mind for me is Morgan Freeman, for example. Morgan Freeman, great man. I think he's a great man, great actor. I love watching his movies. More than half of the movies that Morgan Freeman is in, who is he portraying? A wise black man, right? He doesn't have any power. He doesn't hold any power. He doesn't really ever hold any weapons. He never holds any power. But what he's portraying is wisdom. He's wise. And he's always there, and he's always set to help who? Never himself, never us, never his own people. He's always there to help some other nation, someone else get over the hump, get to the next step, make themselves better. And that is the same portrayal that I saw of this. of the older black male in the video. I was like, there is something very familiar about that man. He didn't, he starts singing the song, he starts singing the blues, right? You know, he's leading the black boy and the black man to the baptism, right? He's leading them to it. That's he is the wise one, along with the woman, the poetess who's telling the poem. They are the wise ones, but they hold no power. They are powerless. And that is the way we are always portrayed. And that is, and after maybe my second look of the video, started saying, wow, those two we can say um, are the they're not the ones being interviewed. They're not part of the game. Let's say they're not what the author of the video is describing as the game gods. They're not part of the system. More so the female than the male, because he seems a little downtrodden, a little beaten down, right? When he's playing that piano and singing the blues, right? Saying this world is not my home, but still, he is the wisdom. They are the wisdom of the film. And in that wisdom, the best that we get out of that is no power. And presenting this to a white audience, what does that say about us? It says, yeah, we may be wise, we may know better than you, but we can always get them to the next level, but we can't get ourselves there. Because as wise as the man and the woman in this video is, they cannot help the people in the video who are suffering. So who is our comforter, right? Who is
I
our comforter? Oh, go ahead, brother Barney.
can
Go
can
ahead.
I can I can I add another perspective to Ecclesiastes 4. I see that also as an indictment on the oppressor, and the reason why it says so I return and consider all the oppression that are done under the sun, and behold the tears of the oppressed, as were oppressed, right? And they had no comforter. And then it says, and on the side of their oppressors there was power. So he's saying you have the ability to restore. He said, but they had no comforter. So it's the same way the Most High is like, I'm sitting here and I'm watching you oppressing my people in their tears, in their pain, and everything that they're going through. And you have the ability to restore them and you won't do it. You have the ability to do the right thing and you won't do it, right? And that likens me back to a couple of scriptures where the Most High saying Deuteronomy 28 and 50. He said, 49, he said, the Most High shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle fly, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation with fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. No matter what you see them going through, you still gonna be ruthless to them. You're gonna give their children up to gator bait. You're gonna starve them to death. You're gonna beat them to death. You're gonna rape them. You're gonna enslave them. And the Most High even says more of that in Isaiah 47. He says, look, Isaiah 47 and 6, he said, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. So this is speaking also in the sense of the oppression and the enemy not having any mercy, no mercy to restore the people that they've destroyed. No mercy on the no for the no mercy on the young, no mercy on the old, no favor, ruthless, fierce countenance. And that's why this nation is going to be destroyed. You know, and we spoke on that before, how the Israelites were the only ones given the law, statutes, and commandments. And according to what Paul says, and according to understanding, where there's no law, there's no sin. So if these people wasn't given any law, what is their sin against the Most High? And the Most High lays it out. He said, because of your what you did to your brother Jacob, how you pursued him with the sword, and you cast off all pity, no mercy, merciless. So that's why I'm not going to show mercy to you. That's what the Most High said. And that's what I like in Ecclesiastes too. How the oppressor has the power to restore, but yet the people that he's oppressed have no comforter. You know?
Right, right. Definitely, I hear you, brother Barney. That's a really, really good point. Of and it goes back also, just to add a little bit to what you said. It goes back also to Yah telling the people who are oppressing us and who have oppressed us that they've just gone too far. There's, yeah, it's a part of a curse is some things we're supposed to stuff, but in that they've gone way too far. Um, I was really, excuse me, I was really pointing out, and kind of bearing on, but they had no comforter, um, to kind of make the point of, how as a nation, Yah was not hearing our prayers because we were under punishment. And in that, they took full advantage, as our oppressors took full advantage of what they could do. But again, they went too far in that. What I really want to stress also is, and I said this before, I'm saying it again, this is the way not only that we are being seen and we are being viewed, but this is the way now that we see ourselves. And this is what we are presenting as the way we are and who we are. And this is basically old tropes, right? Old tropes coming up that are just being revamped, reused, and repurposed. I used, you know, uh, the analogy of Morgan Freeman before, right? Morgan Freeman is an elderly actor now. He's been doing that for years, and they used him in a particular way to say something about our people. And I truly believe part of what, it's not all of it, but part of what they were saying is that we are powerless. As much as we know and as much wisdom as we can gain and throw out there and be helpful to them, we are powerless to save ourselves. We cannot do it. We cannot do it. And one of the things I want to point out too is that we may be powerless to save ourselves, but we have an Elohim, right? And now we know who we are. We know that we are the children of Yah. We are the people of Israel. And we are no longer under these oppressors and powerless under these oppressors. None of those people that you saw being interviewed in that film have to um, have to abide by what this filmmaker called the game gods. None of us have to abide by that. None of us have to live like that. None of us have to get our joy and our gain from playing the game, quote unquote, right? We don't have to be that brother, you know, in the game. And that brother was hard for me to understand. And I'll just say that because I know so many people like him. I know so many people like that. Um, and for me, the people that I know, a lot of people, that the people that I know who have survived living lives like that, don't necessarily put themselves on a video page or an Instagram page saying, "Look, I survived. They can't kill me." Nah, nah, nah. I know many people who have lived that life and who have turned, having survived being filled with bullet holes, having survived seeing their family filled with bullet holes, some of them not surviving. I've seen them turn. I've seen them make that change. So that brother was a little troubling for me in the way he depicted it. Yes, I understand what the filmmaker was trying to do at that point, but that troubled me, and I just want to say that doesn't have to be us. Not anymore. Not anymore. We lived that. We done over with. None of it has to be us. Not the people who were in trouble, and not the people who were presenting themselves as wise. None of that is us anymore. We are the people and the children of Yah.
I want to add in also one of the things I like to always present. It says, I'm going to read that script again. So I returned and considered all the oppressors that are all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears as such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And on the side of the oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. And one of the questions I like to present was, we were given Christianity, and they made it a point of that by continually showing the young boy being baptized, being taken into the water. Yet while we were calling on JC, for lack of a better term, we had no power, and we were being destroyed by the very same people who not only gave us Christianity, but they were calling on the same name as we. Yet they had power and we had no comforter. That thought is the one thought I try to drive into the head of our people who are still bound by these chains of religion, because they do not see that while it may have worked for them on a personal level, while they may have gotten a good job, been able to support their families, got a car, maybe a home, at the same time, people who are calling on that same name as you, believe in the same way as you, are oppressing you, and you're calling them your brother. That's not only an indictment on us, or a challenge rapper for us as a people, Israelites, chosen people, the black man, Negro, whatever you want to call us. It's a challenge for us to question, why is it working for them and not for us? And also, it's a challenge because why are you thinking only about your good? What when I think about the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me, what about our people? What about our nation?
Come on.
Get out of that. What about our people? My question was to the Most High. The beginning of my journey was, I heard this pastor before. I'll say his name, Pastor Manning, at that time, and because it's crazy, because he caped so hard for white Christianity. Yet he posed this question one time because he was saying, I am a Hamite and all that stuff. He's crazy. I wanted to write him, but I think I never did. I wanted to write him because he was caping so hard against the truth. In the beginning, when we were bringing out the fact that we are the chosen people, we are the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that we are the Israelites. And he was fighting so hard against us until the Most High brung him down, got him caught up in his wickedness. But the point was, I wanted to, because I used to support him, and I wanted to write him a letter and thank him for leading me to the truth. Because this one question he asked, he was speaking to the congregation, and this was in the 90s, and he said that he watches, a lot of these pictures, and he, with dealing with Christianity and our movies, and you see us in, like, you could say Star Wars or any of these futuristic movies. And his question was, what about black people? That's the question that I challenge our fellow brethren, kinfolk, who are Israelites. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about, if you're a Negro, if you're you call yourself an African American, if you're on the Isles of Jamaica, if you're a child of the slave trade, ask them, what about us? Because this Christianity has no plan for you, maybe one or two of us in the future. They had no plan for us in the past. They have no plan for us, no good plan for us in the present, and they have no plan for us to be there in the future. That's why we stress returning back to the laws, statute, and commandments, LSC, we as a people. Because as you are going through living your best life as best as you can, and as you're going through this go along to get along lifestyle, we as a people are dying. And I'm speaking directly to our brethren and sisters stuck in Christianity, because I have this video, I have it shared on my Facebook page, and I know some people's going to look at it. And my question is, what about us? Why are we stuck on what has personally been done for us? Do you not know that our ancestors, during the days of Elijah, in Jezebel, in King Ahab, do you know that our whole nation was calling on the name of the Lord then? Back then, the Hebrew translation was Baal. They were saying, oh, Baal. Do you know that something in that calling on that name of that Lord was working for them? Do you know that it had our whole nation deceived? I'm rambling. Do you know that? Do you know that one came up and stood up for the Most High, and he called on Yahweh? Do you know that Yahweh answered? Do you know that when our kingdom was turned back to the law, statutes, and commandments, do you know that he turned and gave us a blessing? That's why we out here daily fighting this battle. That's why we are in these scriptures every day. That is why you cannot answer us. That's why you are shallow. We returning back to the Most High. We confessing, like Sister Cece said, the iniquity of our fathers. Don't you know that is the real repentance? Not calling and saying, dear JC, I am a sinner. But it's confessing that the reason why I am a sinner is because my forefathers before me have sinned, and I have followed in their footsteps, confessing their sins as well as mine, accepting our punishment, now reaching out to y'all to get y'all to return. This is what this is about. Because the wise, even in this presentation that was shown, they had no answer. Briefly, they shown the one brother who stated, I am an Israelite. But I would have rather he had said, we are Israelites. And we all need to return. He says, return unto me. He says, if a woman who's married to a husband, I've got to look up this precept, is married to a man, and she goes and sleeps with another, he says, will he return back to her? He says, will not that land be greatly polluted? He says, he will not return unto her. He says, yet return unto me. For I am married to the backslider. That's what he said. That is the cry. That is the call. Not that, oh, I missed church. I didn't come to church this time, and I was out there, and I went out there, and I was partying, or, oh, brother, I backslid. No, that's not what he means by that. He's calling us as a nation of people. We've all are backslidden in being tied to a religion. He says our land is greatly polluted. He looks upon Christianity, Islam, and all these other things that we tie ourselves to as filth. He looks at it as the filthiness of an unclean woman. So even in your self-righteousness or your mind's eyes righteousness, it's the scripture says your righteousness is as filthy rags to me. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about you've done everything except return back, or we've as a people, a nation of people, because like the scripture says, is one is guilty, the whole nation is guilty. That's why we look at the news, because it's ingrained in our DNA. When we hear bad news, somebody went into a mall and shot up 100 people, even though we know, okay, that's most likely not going to be us, we still look to make sure, because we know that it's a stain on us as a people. It's a mark that he put on us as a people, because in our DNA, it is written from the things that we have seen, the judgments that one has caused to fall upon the whole nation. And that's all I got to say. Uh-oh. Did I lose y'all?
No, you didn't lose us, brother Yash. Can all hear you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm sorry for the rant, but
No, bro. Oh man.
Now I was stumbling, trying to get my mouse over to the other screen. And I think those words are a perfect segue or circle back into, and appreciate that, Yash. Circle back to the question that I asked earlier. Can a person have more than one religion? And so, because I did ask that question, I need to put the definition of religion up. I'll read from Merriam-Webster's, and it says, number one, the belief in a God or in a group of gods. In the example listed are many people turn to religion for comfort in a time of crisis. Number two, an organized system of beliefs, ceremonies, and rules used to worship a god or a group of gods. Example, there are many religions such as Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, and Judaism. Shinto is a religion that is unique to Japan. Number three, informal, an interest, a belief, or an activity that is very important to a person. And as an example, hockey is a religion in Canada. Politics are a religion to him. So when I asked that question earlier, when we got started, it was with the thought that the heathen has more than one religion. And based on the informal definition, matter of fact, based on all three religions, and you should be able to, when I name some of these, I'm going to name some of them. Once I name them, you should be able to, based on the definition, identify which one it fits into. But a typical heathen has at least these four. And we're going to start off with the very top one. The system of white supremacy is a religion. White supremacy is a religion. Why? Because if I look at the informal, it's an interest, a belief, or an activity that is very important to them. If they didn't have white supremacy, they would be finished. And it also fits in number two because it's an organized system of beliefs, ceremonies, and rules that they use to worship their God. Not ours, but theirs. And so white supremacy is definitely one of the religions that a typical heathen has. Another one is in the snakes, the Republican and Democrat paradigm. That's another religion. And I'm going to file that in the informal. And matter of fact, we can use the informal and where it says politics are a religion to him. Politics are not a religion to us, but it's a religion to the heathen. That's for most definitely sure. I always say you have the red Republican, you have the white people, and you have the blue Democrat. It's typical American, red, white, and blue. And none of it got to do with you. Let's see, let's grab another religion. And the religion that we talked about today, which this show is based on, is the religion of capitalism. It's another belief system that we haven't necessarily perfected because there's no law, statutes, and commandments in capitalism. It's dolo yolo. You only live once. Get as much as you can when you can get it. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
we can hear you, brother Cleo. No problem.
Have you been able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I had something turned down on this little jukebox thingy I got. So capitalism is definitely a religion, and it has only been shown how to really execute it to a few. The Boule has got some of the secrets, but again, how they use it is they use it as a weapon against their own people. When you say the talented 10th, if you're in a fraternity or a sorority, then you're a talented 10th, but we gonna keep the game to ourselves, but we're not gonna show the rest of our people the game, right? And so that's another religion, capitalism. And it's a religion to not me, because how I view business and commerce and operate is different than how even the boule or even the heathens see it. The way I see it is this way. If I'm up, Israel's up. Let me repeat that. If I'm up, if I'm doing good, Israel's doing good. Why? Because if I'm doing good, I'm going to open up to book, and book's going to open up to me, and I'm going to share with book. Book is going to share with me, and we're going to grow together. It's not going to benefit me if I'm up looking down at book and saying, "Hey, book, I done reached the mountaintop. I'm popping." No, I should be looking at book and saying, "Okay, book, how can we pop together?" We need to be popping together. I need to be raising up or attempting to raise up or build with like-minded people, because I'm already LSC. So I have nothing hindering me. I have no hindrances at all. So the last one I'm going to talk about is, and this is the one that has our people captivated, even if you're Israelite or not, is the religion of Christianity, the actual religion that is known to be a religion. See, the other three that I named that the heathen typically has, those are not really considered as religions. But the book says that they are. And I can prove that with the book, that each one of these, I don't even have to go to marriage. I could prove that white supremacy is a religion. The Republican voting Democrat paradigm is a religion. Capitalism is a religion. The last nail is Christianity. And each one of these things are actually tools, subsetted tools of white supremacy. But the religion of Christianity is a religion in and of itself. And it's been weaponized to be used against you. Brother Yash brought it out, and I'm going to say it this way. They get theirs right now, and I say it all the time. We have to wait for the sweet by and by. You look in the mirror and say, well, what about us, Father? These people benefiting. When are we going to benefit? When are we going to get our, you tithe $10, when am I going to get that 1,000-fold increase? That should be 10 racks for those of you who like math. I invest a $10 bill in tithes and offerings. I should get back 10 I should have 10,000 because I get 1,000-fold blessing, right? And so Christianity, that's right. I'm seeing the comments that's flowing as we speak. So I'm gonna put this one up because this one is definitely a drug. Christianity is it's a drug. It's a relaxant. It's a suppressant. It's a depressant. It gets you high when you go to the church and you get them praise and worship songs. You be feeling so high that when you walking out there, you walking on water. And there's nothing wrong with praise and worship of the Father. There's nothing wrong with that. Trust that, because I love music. But Christianity is definitely a drug. Is one hell of a drug. That's right, Donovan. That's right, Yash. It's one hell of a drug. And so that's the perspective I was talking about. Let's always look at definitions of things, because again, if we look at how the system has been moved and weaponized against us, we'll be able to identify and move accordingly. Now, what I want to say is, after watching the video And after everybody giving their perspective on it, whether you're in the chat or whether you're on the panel, my question is this: what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? And I yield.
That's thank you, brother Yash, and thank you, brother Cleo, for that. Brother Cleo, that's the $1,000,000 question, right? What are we gonna do about it? And that's kind of what just to go back a little bit is what I was thinking about when I saw this video. Um, and I realized that in all the years that we've been here and all the years that we've been oppressed, we've taken on the view that our oppressors have of us. We now have, in many ways and shapes and forms, the same view of ourselves that they have of us, that we are no better than madams, and we are no better than pimps, and we are no better than, brothers, selling, all types of stuff on the streets, that we are no better than this. And we are no better than it because we are now caught in this game. And that is not us. And that is not who we are as the children of Yah. Um, I'm sure everybody, knows this idea. When the children of Israel were brought out of Egypt, how many times does the word spotlight and show us that they did not lose the things that they learned in Egypt? They did not lose their ways of beings. The first instance that we see, or the first thing that comes to my mind, is Moses was up in the mountain too long, and so they were like, okay, now let's make ourselves a golden calf. Where do you think they learned that from? They learned that from the land of Egypt. And part of us removing ourselves from here, when Yah says to us in Revelations, come out of her, my people, it's not just physically. Yes, we want to go, we want to move, we want to leave, but we have to come out mentally and physically as well. We don't want to be the ones who are caught in the wilderness where Yah is separating and removing the rebels from among his people. We don't want to be the ones on the wrong side. We want to be on the right side of that. And so all these images, all those images that we saw in that video, we as beautiful as we think they might be, and like I said, I thought some of them were beautiful too. You have to realize that is not us. And even if it is us, even if it is you, even if it is your family or people you know, or loved ones that are close to you, we have to take the next step. If it is us, we need to remove ourselves from it. It can't be us going forward. It cannot be us going forward.
Hey, I want to address the question about what can we do about it. And I think in Zechariah chapter 8, the Most High is speaking through the prophet, and he tells us exactly what we can do in these times. If one of you brothers mind pulling that up, Zechariah chapter 8. Or I'll just read it. It's cool. Zechariah 8.
Hold on, I'm a little bit slow, E. I'm going to pull it up for you. Give me a minute.
All right.
Hey, Brother Eric, did you want someone to read it, or you just want Brother Cleo to pull it up on the screen?
If you want to read it, you can do it. I just really wanted to reference it.
Okay, gotcha.
If you want to read it, Brother, how you can, is Zechariah 8, verses 14 through 17.
Okay, Zechariah 8, verses 14 through 17. And I'm reading, excuse me, I'm reading from the KJV. But thus saith the Lord of hosts, as I thought to punish you, and your fathers provoked me to wrath, saith the Lord of hosts, and I repented not. So again, have I thought in these days to do well unto Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. Fear ye not. These are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. For all these are things that I hate, saith the Lord. And the word of
So
the Lord of hope. Oh, sorry. I was going to read 18 too, but just
go ahead.
and the word of the Lord of hosts came unto me. So, yeah. I should have stopped at 17. Sorry about that, bro.
Yeah, but this is the blueprint, basically. You know, that's why a lot of our efforts that we do, we come together for fellowship. We come together for this purpose to declare the truth. You know, it says, these things that ye shall do, speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. We already established who our neighbors are, who the neighbor is. All right, execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates, meaning the LSCs need to be practiced within our own homes, like Brother Cleo stresses. You know, everything we do for our homes, and everything we do in our homes will echo into the whole or to the community. It says, let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor. All right. If a man hate his brother without a cause, right, he's shall be guilty of the judgment. And it says, love no false oath. You know, what is an oath? The oath is something that's binding. So another term we can use for oath is maybe a covenant. So love no false covenant. Because one of the tools of white supremacy is that we're under the new covenant and that they're a part of that. So that's a false oath. It says, for all these are things that I hate, said the Most High. Definition of oath.
Oh, there you go.
A solemn, usually formal calling upon God or a God to witness to the truth of what one says, or to witness that one sincerely intends to do what one says. So when we look at not Leviticus, but Exodus, when the people said everything the Most High said we will do, that was them entering into an oath. But the Most High never did that with any of the other nations. So any covenant that anybody else is trying to make you a part of is a false oath, because he only entered into an oath with Israel, a solemn attestation of the truth or inviolability of one's words. The witness took an oath to tell the truth in court, something such as a promise, corroborated by oath. So when you look at the oath that the Most High made with our forefathers, you know, to give them the land, them and their descendants' land, and not only that, to bring them back, you know, for them to witness all of this greatness. And we're going to be seeing them as well. All this is a part of an oath
that the Most High made with our people that He didn't make with anybody else. But that's all I had on that. That's the blueprint.
You know, when we talk about oaths, I think about the covenant. And when I'm thinking about what the brother Cleo said, what are we going to do? You know, I ask myself, well, the first thing comes to mind is that there's no new thing under the sun. All right, there's no new thing under the sun. The Most High is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. All right. What did our people do in Egypt for the Most High to come and save them? Well, what did they do? You know what they did?
Cried out.
They cried out to the Most High. They cried out to him. Why didn't they just overthrow the Egyptians? Why? Because this situation was the same as ours right now. They had no might. Can you hear me? Can you, brother?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother Bonnie.
Let me share my screen, bro. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share a couple of things with you. They had no might, the same as we don't have any might. But hopefully this will restore or increase your faith. What I want to show you. So they didn't have the law, statutes, and commandments. They didn't have them. But nevertheless, the Most High saved our people. They had no might. They had no great and impressive power or strength, especially of a nation, large organization or natural force. Might. Then that's from the Oxford Dictionary. Now, what did the Most High say in Deuteronomy 28? He says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto thee, unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fell with longing for them all the day long, and there should be no might in thy hand." Might. Again, great and impressive power or strength, especially of a nation, large organization, or natural forces. Right? What are we going to do though? What are we going to do? What did our forefathers do to implore the Most High to help them? They cried out. They cried out to the Most High. What does the Most High say in Galatians 3:17? And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before the Most High in Mashiach, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul that it should make the promises of effect, right? The law is not the reason why the Most High going to come and save us. It's just that it's going to coincide with something that we're doing, keeping the Most High's commandments, not so he can save us, not so he can save us, but because we love him. That's the only reason why we keep the commandments. It's because we love the Most High, but we cry out to him and he will save us. He didn't give us the law so that it can save us. He made the covenant. The law doesn't disannul that. The Most High's intentions was the same from the start, that if we cry out to him, he would save us. But it's not a sincere cry unto him if we're not keeping the commandments. It's not a sincere cry unto him. It's not faith in him. We don't believe in him if we're not keeping the Most High's commandments. We have to cry out to him and keep the commandments. Why? Because the commandments are a sign that we love him. If you love somebody, sometimes, you ever heard the saying, when you love something, let it go. If it come back to you, it's yours. And if it doesn't, then it never was. The Most High is giving us the option. to choose him like he chose us. That's why we going through everything that we going through. Because the Most High allowed us to walk away from him. He allowed us to do that. We in this condition because we chose it. This is what our forefathers chose. Now we got to walk back to him. His intentions was always the same from the start, that if we cried out to him, he would deliver us. Deuteronomy 30:1. And it shall come to pass when all these things shall come upon thee, the blessings and the curses which I set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Most High, the Elohim, have driven thee, and shall return unto the Most High, the Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. All right? And Mashiach said, with all thy mind. He was referring to the 10 Commandments. Love the Most High, thy Elohim, with all thy heart, soul, and mind. And the next one is great also. Love thy neighbor as thyself. It's always been about love with us in the Most High, man. It's always been about us choosing him the way he chose us. The Most High said, I set before you life and death. Choose life. The Most High is telling you, I love you. Love me. Keep my commandments. His intentions have always been the same with us, to deliver us when we cry out to him. It's always been the same. That's what we must do. But are we crying out in sincerity, or are we crying out just to be delivered? Are we crying out because we tired of being here and we want to be with the one that loves us? He gave us the option. That's what you do when you love someone. You give them a choice to choose you. Because if you force them to choose you, it's not real love. So he's given us the choice. He's given us the opportunity to see what the grass was like on the other side. He chose us. We had the opportunity to have him as our king. We wanted kings like the other nations. And he gave us what we wanted. This is everything you see right here, everything we going through. This is what we chose. This is what our forefather chose. And as we move forward and we bicker, we fight amongst each other, our brothers and sisters destroy each other, we lose moral compass, we continue to choose this. That's why my message is always going to be one of love towards Israel, but it's always also going to be one of great responsibility for us that are awakened. Great responsibility. Because if we haven't awakened to this understanding, we might as well be asleep. That's all I wanted to say.
I was gonna I was gonna bring them precepts from Deuteronomy 30, so I appreciate you doing that, brother. One thing I want to just add to that, and not add, but just kind of segue into uh, the thought of the LSC is not important, right? And we know that your salvation isn't based on you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, but somebody pull up Revelations 14 and 12, because this is not the whole conclusion of the matter, but the book says somewhere, and you can pull this one up too. Let us hear the whole conclusion of the matter. Fear the Father and keep his commandments, because why? Because it is the whole duty of man. And I know I paraphrased in there a little bit, but somebody bring that precept up. You get Revelation 14 and 12, and I can pull it up. I got it already. I'll pull it up on the screen. And for those of you who don't think LSC is important, right? This is from the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 12. And here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Father and, and, and the faith of Mashiach. So you can't get around that one, family. If you a physician of no value and you teaching that the law is done away with, the statutes is done away with, the commandments is done away with, you a liar. Because this say otherwise. And this is from Revelation. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Father and the faith of Mashiach. Now, how are you gonna get away from that?
Christians.
You can't teach nobody that doing what the Father says is not. You got to go by the book. There's no Christmas tree in there. There's no Easter eggs in there for you to be doing. Valentine's Day is not in there. The heathen worship practices, which they've been doing for time immemorial, that they had you accept and said that it's okay, is not in there. So LSC is important, according to this. Thank you, Brother Yash, for bringing it, Brother Yash. Yeah. See, I call them, and y'all know exactly where to go get them. I'm going to throw it up. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Father and do what? Keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. Point blank, period. I'm a yield.
Brother Cleo, my favorite script of all times for how plain it puts it. You can't dispute it. Ecclesiastes 12, 13, and 14. It just says it all. Like, what? How are you going to argue with that? How are you going to say we're not supposed to keep the law, statutes, and commandments after you read that script? Impossible. I love that script.
All right, fam. Look like we 3 hours in. This has been another what I call a marathon, but we'll do 5-hour shows sometimes. Does brothers have anything that they want to add to? Brothers on the panel, anything that you want to add to the video or comments or just stuff in general that we've discussed? I'll start from the top and work down, brother Banya.
Oh man, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Great group of brothers, man. Always great to fellowship. I always leave with more understanding and more knowledge, and my spirit is always lifted being around you brothers. It's really an honor to just to be able to fellowship with each and every one of the people in this room, each and every one of you brothers, and our brothers and sisters within the comment section. You can't put a price tag on that, man. Salt of the earth, we love our people, and you brothers accurately reflect that understanding of that, and it's I just when you think you at a certain point, man, you get around brothers, and you start growing more and more, and it's like, wow, where would the Most High take me next? you know and I second that. Also, law, statutes, and commandments, it's always going to be pushed in this room, because that's the only method in which we can show the Father our love. And he deserves it. He deserves our love. He deserves our praise, our worship. He deserves our obedience. All right. And everybody in this room, I hope the Most High blesses you and strengthens you in your walk, and that he strengthens you in your faith. And, he continues to have patience and mercy on our nation. And, so that we're able to endure and come up out of this thing. Like, 'cause my hopes is that I'll be able to see everybody's true face within the wilderness, and that we enter into new covenant with the Most High together and be restored as a nation. And that's my hope for everybody here and everybody that's not here, camp or not camp, Israelite understanding the Israelite or not understanding your Israelite. My hope is that my people are restored, period, to the Most High. That's it.
Brother Yash.
Yeah, this was it was very enlightening. There's not much more I can add. I want to throw a quick prayer up there for Sister Cece. She said to pray for her two sons, Carl and Elijah. So I'm gonna throw one up real quick, sis. Father, we pray right now for Sister Cece, her two sons, Carl and Elijah, for whatever reason they have her soul vexed before you. And she's crying out for them, Abba, that you intervene. So we're asking right now, as a nation, as a family, as a whole group, Abba, that you intervene on her behalf, Father, and that whatever the situation is, you will turn it around, Abba, and that even as she named her son Elijah, Yah, Yah, that's what that means. Yah is Elohim. We pray that that understanding will fall on both of them, even now, oh Yah, and that we'll get a praise report out of this, Father, that there will be a difference, Abba, and that you are answering prayers even now, Father, that you hear the cries of your people. We pray that in the name of Hamashiach, in your name, O Yah, in the Ruach HaKodesh. Amen.
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 Amen. Brother E.
Yeah, I just want to say shalom and peace and blessings. Much love to all you brothers on the platform, salt of the earth family. I know the brother Kadar ain't present, but shalom to him as well. Shalom to everybody in the chat. Like Brother Banya said, it's not really much to say that hasn't been said, so I'm going to be brief and just say, brothers and sisters, be encouraged. I pray the Most High, like you said, strengthens our faith, and may the Most High's word continue to be our hope. All praises to the Father, all praises to his Son, and all praises to the Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.
I'm gonna say that I'm energized by just fellowshipping with the brothers on the panel, and we got some brilliant brothers on, not me included. I'm talking about the brothers. Number one, they love the Father, they love his Son Mashiach, and they rock with the Ruach HaKodesh. Number one, first and foremost. Secondly, I could tell you that the brothers on the panel know this book. They're not to be played with, and they're not to be fooled around with when it comes to the book. Number three, they love their people. You can tell that the brothers on the panel love their people first and foremost. And so we hope that, and not just our men, that we care and love about our men and our women in a righteous way, not in a way that the world does. So I'm thankful to have the brothers on the panel and to be able to fellowship with them online and offline, because we are the solution, family. You don't have to have no big organization, the NAACP, the Boule, or none of them. No, it starts with each one of us looking in the mirror and doing what we're supposed to be doing. Then we linking up with other family, doing what we're supposed to be doing. Then we link up with other family and continue to do what we're supposed to be doing. We already know what the solution is. We don't need nobody to tell us so. I done spoke enough. I'm going to pass over to Brother Hal. Brother Hal, we're going to let you have the last word, and we're going to close out.
All right. Brothers, I just want to thank everyone, every single one of you guys, Brother Cleo, Brother Banya, Brother Yash, Brother Eric. I'm even going to thank Brother Kadar. I know he couldn't be here today. Wish he was able to be. Thank you so much for putting this out there, for putting this video out there and allowing our people to see not only how we're viewed, but how we view ourselves. And the way that we view ourselves will allow us and help us and push us in following that second and most important commandment of how we love each other as ourselves. And most of all, how we love our Elohim. And that is of utmost importance to us as a nation and how we move forward. Brother Bonnie, the stuff he was saying was just so strong and powerful, man. Everybody on the panel today just said some great, strong, powerful stuff, all biblically backed. Everything we could take away, practice, and learn and use as a nation to follow our Elohim, follow the Most High. So I'm just way too proud of you, brothers. I love you all. Everybody in the chat, thank you for taking your time out on this Shabbat to listen and to go through this with us. Thank you for all your prayers for each other. Thank you for showing love to your people. We are truly an Israelite assembly, and I am thankful, most thankful to y'all for that. So thank you all so much. Y'all bless. Have a blessed rest of your Shabbat, people.
And with that, fam, we out.